Okay, so I have a question for you guys. I thought about this on my drive home from school today, and it really got me thinking. And I didn't exactly know how to respond to it or how to answer it. So I figured, since it was pretty much an open-ended question to a certain extent, I'd ask you guys and see what feedback you guys have and how this may relate to you or any other experiences you've had. Um, but here, this is the question I came up with, and it says, why do you think the way you do? So I'll say that one more time. Why do you think the way you do? Okay. And the class I was coming from was a philosophy class. And we were going over this little story thing. They called it an allegory, the allegory of the cave. Okay. And I drew a little picture so you guys can see, what they were comparing in this allegory. Okay. So in this little allegory, there's a cave. Okay. And it's underground. And there's a guy here, and he's chained to this wall. And this square deal is like, a step wall where he's chained to the wall, and all he can do is look forward. He can't, because of the chains, he can't, move. He can't turn his head. He can't look anywhere else. All he looks is at this right here, which is a shadow. And this shadow is from a puppet. Okay? And little does he know, there's a real person out there. Here's a puppet, which is shaped like a person. It's not a real person. And here we have a shadow, which is a representation of the puppet, which is a representation of the real person. However, this guy has lived in the cave his whole life, and all he knows is this shadow. So he sees the figure of a person, and maybe to him, that's what a person is. Okay? So this may be a little confusing or maybe a little strange, but the reason I kind of use this is because this is what that kind of sparked my interest or sparked this question that I had of why do we think the way we think, or why do you think the way you think? This is directed towards you. Why do you think the way you think, or the way you do? Sorry, I'm tripping over words here. But think about it. A lot of people, I'm pretty sure you can name a few of them who, live their whole lives, maybe in a cave, and whatever's around them, they believe. They don't go out of their comfort zone to experience anything new. They just kind of take in information that's remotely close to them and use that to base their interpretation of everything else on that little bit of information. And if somebody were to bring in new information, they would say, I've never seen that before. You're crazy. That doesn't exist. We don't have that here. We don't have that anywhere. If somebody were to come down in this cave, well, this is fire, by the way. This is a little wall on top of the wall that's blocking the puppet. Just ignore it. It was just details from the story. I just added everything there just so I had everything. But think about it. Think about what would happen if somebody came into this guy's little cave, and somebody came in here and they tried to tell this guy that what he was seeing is only a shadow. And that's not the real thing. The real thing is an actual living, breathing, functioning person, a human, a living, breathing thing. And this guy would just be like, no way, man. This is how things have always been. This is the only thing there is. Why would I believe anything different? Okay? Because that's all he knows. That's why. That's all he knows, and that's all he cares to believe in. However, little does he know, there's more out there than just that shadow in front of him. There's not only a puppet that's creating the shadow, but there's also a real live person. The puppet is copied or modeled after. Okay, so now that you kind of generally understand the story, if it's confusing, I'm sorry, it was confusing for me, so just deal with it. It's philosophy, that's just how it is. But think about, okay, my question, going back to my question. Why do you think the way you do? Okay? A lot of people that I see or come in contact with on a day-to-day basis, they're kind of just like sheep. You know, a lot of people are just kind of in their own little rat race, in their own little maze, just trying to get their stuff done, focus on themselves, get up, go to work, take lunch, get back to work, go home, do the same thing over again. People are stuck in this little routine, and for a lot of people, that's all they know. That's all they know. Because nothing else was presented to them. They lived in the cave their whole life. They believed and saw the shadow their whole life. They were told there were things such as puppets and things such as real live people, not even puppets, but they never saw them. They only heard rumors or stories about it. And so therefore they didn't do a whole lot to go out and achieve it or even see if that was really there. So, and just I'm kind of just winging this, so I don't have like a script in front of me. I'm just kind of talking. So I apologize if my thing is jumpy or like what I'm saying is jumpy or if it's confusing. Anyways, um, but yeah. So my point is, some people are stuck with this mindset. Some people only have certain beliefs and certain understanding or certain skills or certain whatever. But let me tell you this. You don't know what you don't know. Okay? This little guy in chains, if there was like, I don't know, another person up here or a dog, I don't know, up there, not only does he not know those types of things even exist, and because he doesn't know they exist, how is he supposed to know any of that's even there? See, you literally don't know what you don't know. And this is kind of what bothers me about a lot of people that I talk to, or a lot of people that I hear from, because a lot of people like to share their opinions. And one thing I've noticed is a lot of people have this sort of tunnel vision about where they want to go or what they want to do or how they have to do things. But you don't have to do things a certain way. You don't have to only do things in this way. Those limits that you put on whatever you're doing are from yourself. You gave those limits to yourself. And I don't understand why people do that. Because whether you think you can or whether you think you can't, whether you think you, okay, excuse me, whether you think you can or whether you think you can't, either way, you're right. Okay? A lot of people choose to do only what they know. And you do the same thing over and over again, you're going to get the same results. If you expect something different, you just define insanity. The definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again, expecting different results. Just makes sense. So, a lot of people want a lot from life, or a lot of people see things, or the way their mindset is, they choose to do things a certain way because that's all they know. But the information's out there. This person that people thought only existed in fairy tales, that person that achieves everything, or is that one person that changes all this, the one person that changes the world, or the one person that, is worldwide, and for whatever, a lot of people keep thinking, boy, that'll never be me. But it's somebody. It's always going to be somebody else. It's always going to be somebody else, not me. Okay. Think about every single person's point of view. Every single person has that same mindset. I'm okay, not everybody, but you understand what I'm trying to say here. If everybody says it'll be somebody else, what are you waiting for? It's not somebody else's job to inspire the world. It's not somebody else's job to stand up and be different and do things that nobody has done before, or learn things that people around you don't learn. This probably sounds off the wall or a little confusing or strange, but I met a lot of people that had very different mindsets than I had, especially from everybody I was growing up around. Nobody I grew up around had this type of mindset. But until I saw the other side, the opening of the cave, the person standing on top of the cave, until I saw it firsthand, I understood that there's more to life. There's more to everything than just what you see, right here. There's more than just that. There's so much of your life that can change and be different and be drastically improved by having the right mindset. And it sounds completely off the wall to some. I'm pretty sure it does. Because whenever I would get pissed off, my parents would say, "Hey, you better watch your attitude." Like I care. I'm pissed off and I'm going to have a bad attitude if I want. Well, check it out. Law of attraction says you become what you think about most of the time. You're constantly thinking about negative things. You're constantly thinking about being pissed off. Guess what else you're attracting into your life? Things that are gonna make you pissed off more, and things that are gonna, make you upset or make you mad or negative things, whatever. But you flip it, and the exact same thing happens in the opposite end of the spectrum. You think about positive things. You stay happy. You smile. Smile to people. People smile back. You do a nice thing for somebody. Act of kindness. Somewhere along the lines, it's probably going to be returned. So, back to the card. Why do you think the way you do? Because not everybody thinks the same way. And everything that goes on inside your head is probably not the same thing that's going on in my head. And probably not the same thing that's going on in the person, in your friend's head. Everybody's different. But everybody has similar, okay. There's similar but different, okay? Like a cat and a dog. Similar but different. They have eyes, they have fur, they have legs, they have a tail. They're similar. How they're different, dog says bark, cat says meow. Okay? Same thing with people. People are, 5 feet, 6 foot, 5 foot, 6 foot, whatever. Light, dark, big, small, all kinds of different people. So people are similar, but there's this thing between your ears, in your head, called the brain. And it makes all of us different on how it works and how it interprets and relays information. But you can be in charge of how that information is relayed. You can be in charge of determining what comes in and also what is coming out as well. Like the perfect example is, say you have haters. Everybody's got them, or has had them at one point in time, or has dealt with some type of drama because of some hater or whatever. It happens to everybody. But it's not about what happens that determines your life. It's what you do about what happens that determines your life, okay? So regardless of if people are hating on you, regardless of what people are trying to tell you or people are trying to persuade you to do, you don't have to do it. You can do whatever you want. You really can. But it's the social norm to do what everybody else is doing. It's this social norm to conform and to not go out and to not be different and to not stand out above the crowd. It's this social norm that it's okay and it's uh, um, praised almost to be like everybody else, do what everybody else is doing. But I don't see any results of these people conforming to everybody else of something I want. And if it's something you want, go ahead, do it. I'm not going to stop you. However, I'm going to end this video with this. If you don't like what you see, if you don't like what's happening, change it. Your thoughts are a lot more powerful than you think. And thoughts become things. If you can see it in your mind, you can hold it in your hand. If you want to see something different, then do it. If you're wondering why somebody else is doing so much better than you, maybe do what they do. Maybe say what they say. You know? I know this is a long video, so I mean, if you managed to make it 16 and a half minutes, kudos to you for enjoying looking at my face in this video here. But hopefully you understand my point. You don't have to be stuck in this cave. You don't have to be stuck believing there's only one thing. You don't have to be stuck like that. There's more out there. There's more to life than just what everybody else is doing. You are an individual. You're not just a person. You are an individual. A human being that is different from the next person. And what defines you from the next person, that's up to you. You can be a meth head, serial killer, car robber, McDonald's chef. You can be whatever you want to be. You can be a skateboarder. You can be a surfer. You can be an artist. You can be a soccer player. You can be a football player. Some things are probably more suitable than others. I wouldn't exactly suggest a midget on a basketball team. Same thing I wouldn't expect, a tall giant on a limbo team. I don't know. These are just random things. Anyways, I ramble on. But I hope you understand what I'm trying to say. And I really am looking forward to hearing from you and getting your feedback about, my little idea or my little topic here. So think about it. Why do you think the way you think? Why do you think the way you do? Why do you do things the way you do? Is it because other people do it? Or is it because you want to? Or is it a combination of both? It's a very open question. My opinion, do I have an opinion? Most likely. But I'd like to hear from you guys and see what you guys have to say and get you guys thinking a little bit about what's going on in our world and what people are doing, how people are thinking. Because if one ant drops dead, colony's still gonna go. But if all of them drop dead, nobody's gonna dig it anymore. Now, if all of these ants decide to, for some reason, start, I don't know, eating only grass in your front lawn, not the back lawn. Okay, this doesn't make any sense. I'm probably just gonna edit this out, but or I probably won't edit it out. It takes too long. I'm rambling on, so this is a long video. I'm gonna actually add on, so I'm gonna stop.